Welcome to the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District Board of Commissioners. This is a work session. It is not a meeting. We're not going to approve or pass anything today. We're just going to try to figure out what we need to do and give ourselves a little guidance. Input from the public is welcome, and we'll go from there. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Randy.
You want roll call, Larry?
Do we need it's a work session, but I guess, yes, let's do a roll call.
Commissioner Stant
I'm here.
and Commissioner Schrott, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Groff, Commissioner Pinkley here.
Okay. All right. We have discussion topics. Number one is the resume of a golf pro position for Holiday Island. And I was given a resume for a Paul Hilliard, and he's currently at
Kelly got this, guys. She's going to get a contact. I'm sure.
Paul Hilliard, yep, he's out of Fort Worth. He's out of Fort Worth, Texas, right? Or
no,
Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Fort Smith, Arkansas.
And he had spent some time he was at Diamond Head for about 3 years. And I'm very familiar with Diamond Head. I was the manager there for 2 years. And then I went to South Carolina, 5 years there, and came back and put together a group that bought Diamond Head and to develop it. So anyway, I called a friend of mine down there, and I said, what do you know about him? She called me back in about 30 minutes, and she said, he is very dependable, did great with the golf course. He improved it. In other words, she gave him a 5-star rating. And so, anyway, we have his resume here, and then the plus on that is the fact that he also has a superintendent's license. Superintendents. In other words, he knows golf courses and the operations of golf courses and the maintenance thereof. We were very fortunate in the early days. We had a guy that he had a degree he had a degree in grass. He did good. But anyway, this guy is very impressive.
Yeah, I really thought that was a good resume, a good person. But I think we're not ahead of the game on this, but we've talked about the pro shop and the ballroom and maybe getting a person who would manage that, whether that would be a golf pro, the way that Barry Storr used to do it for years and successfully, I don't know. But we also talked about a person that would try to go out and get more events there at the ballroom, such as wedding receptions, go to maybe a wedding planning like Eureka does to get all their weddings in. And if that could be the same person, I think it would be a good hire. However, we don't have a driving range. We don't have a driving range, so a lot of what a golf pro does is if they're trying to get new golfers out, like young people, or even people my age who need to work on a lot, we have no driving range for the golf pro to A, make some money giving lessons, B, help the citizens with improving their golf game. So I think this might be the same person, Larry, it might be, but I think we're a little before, but I appreciate you bringing it, and the other one as well. They look like good people, but I don't know in the budget whether we don't have a golf pro in the budget that I'm aware of, but anyway, I wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
But we have a superintendent already, so, if we have, this guy's a superintendent and this guy can run the golf course, I think if we hire somebody, they just, as a pro, he needs to run the golf course and run the maintenance crew. And, well, I understand that, but we're not getting a lot of stuff done either.
I agree with Commissioner Brown. That's getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We have a lot of things up in the air that need to get resolved, and District Manager, you have something to add?
Looking at the ad.
Your finger was holding. Are we actively looking for someone for the golf course?
Yes.
Okay.
We are looking for, and my biggest thing is restaurant, golf course combo. And that's the hardest thing. You got golf.
Pro shop,
Pro
restaurant,
shop,
pro
yeah.
shop,
Restaurant, pro
not
shop.
golf maintenance.
No. And that's the biggest problem. is you
I
get
think the ballroom and the pro shop should be two separate entities.
from the kitchen.
Yeah.
I do too.
I think ultimately we'll wind up with some sort of a venue person that would deal with the ballroom. I think that's a revenue generator, and I think we need to separate it out from the pro shop and the restaurant.
And that, in that case, we have two good applicants for pro shop / ballroom. And then I was also presented a kitchen manager last week that would be very good for the kitchen manager. But then we also, at the end of the day, we also got to look at the budget and what they're willing to come in for and work for.
Well, we have Lauren's budget that's yet to be filled.
Yep.
I don't know what the total staff budget was for the restaurant, but obviously it's down considerably.
Yes.
So sooner or later, we have to start lining people up to deal with the restaurant and the pro shop.
Yep, we do.
And it appears that we're in that process.
We are. We're in the process.
And that is the responsibility of the district manager to do that interviewing and make those decisions.
Well, I question when we look at a resume, I think first we have to decide what is it we expect of this person. Is it the pro shop and lessons and managing
Can
the
he go to the
restaurant? I don't
nine-hole
know.
course?
I think, but that's the
Yeah.
first, we have to define what is it we expect of this person.
Yes, we do.
And this
agree.
guy, he covers a lot of bases.
Well,
Yes.
and the
The
other.
only thing I see derogatory about this resume is his length of stay at any one place of employment is not very long.
Yeah, I think that's the modern world.
Well,
I worked the same place 40 years, and I'm the exception.
And the reason I'm dragging my feet on this is, A, the kitchen. Once we get it cleaned, up and going, back open up, we can get somebody in there then. And B, the moving of the pro shop. We want to get it moved downstairs, that way the person we bring in is not feeling like they have to be on top of the people in the kitchen to try and run his pro shop.
I do think we ought to be actively looking. And if this guy's gainfully employed now, and we take an interest in him about starting employment maybe in February or March, maybe he's fine with that.
Well,
Well, I think the longevity of his stay at different places, I guess if he's, whatever the age he is, if that's 62 or whatever, and he's going to retire in a couple of years, what we do is we hire somebody that he trains, and then if the guy retires, we've got him. We've got a man to take over. Before we had that's basically what we did, just had a part-time, or Tyler just took over his place, and to me, the golf courses went downhill.
Now, this resume, Bertram, or are we talking about Paul? Okay, so he has pro golf experience. This gentleman doesn't have any experience in
No, he's
golf.
managed a cigar shop or something.
Yeah, I didn't bring that, but I have it. Okay, well, I think Rich has his hands full and knows what he's doing and will operate accordingly.
Well, do you think we ought to talk to him? Do you think you ought to talk to him?
We're bringing in, I got his, as soon as I let Lauren go, it was a week later, I got his application and called and talked to him. And
Oh,
I've been in
okay.
touch with him. I mean, he seems great. He's been trying to figure out when he can get up here and do a tour and everything, so.
Well, maybe he has some suggestions how to deal with not having a driving range.
I've been in contact with him, but yeah, he's on top of my list.
Okay.
Do we have any facility down at the nine-hole course that, for giving lessons?
We got a baseball field down there.
I looked at that, Larry.
Yeah,
It's-
that's what I'm saying.
Mayor says he's got some tall fences that he put up around the old driving range.
I tell you, the best thing we can get as a golf pro is somebody who wants to come in and set up that simulator. Because that
Right.
simulator,
And
which
make
you
it-
know,
make it
is
work.
probably your best lesson giver you got before you hit the greens.
It's fine.
So if I can get a guy who's wanting to fire up that golf simulator and actually make money off that,
And it's right by the pro shop,
And it's right
right by the
by
pro
the
shop downstairs.
Yep.
And you'll be able to see the number one hole, so you'll know when people are going off, if they paid or if they didn't pay. Right now, we don't have a clue. Sometimes there's people go off, that just come straight out of their car and go off. I don't even see them go to the clubhouse.
One other thing to mention is that we do have the chipping area and the putting green right there, which, you know, if you're gonna learn to play golf, you better start with your short game.
That's the important part of golf.
And then, you know, theoretically, when it's quiet, you can go out on a given hole and practice. You know, you don't, or give instruction. But we have places
I
that,
think if we need to say carry on. Okay,
carry on.
all right.
Sure. One of the other comments I'd like to make, Mr. Chair, is that about 3 years ago, I think it was, we had a golf committee, and they met up at the pro shop or at the diner there several times. Phyllis, were you on that committee?
No, because I was a commissioner at the time, and that made it a public meeting.
Okay, but you were a golfer that gave input to that committee?
No, I did not.
Okay. Carl, I don't know if you were on it or not, but we had several golfers that are really active, like 2, 3, 4 days a week on the golf course, and they came up with some good ideas. I'm wondering if we're looking at people who play a lot here and are intending to stay here, and they really like golf, to get some input from the public other than in this meeting about that. But I think Randy's right. We need to decide on the positions, what they're going to pay, and what their responsibilities are. And could you take some of the duties and merge them into one? If that's not successful, as it's not been maybe in the past, we separate. But we've always got to look at the income and the outgo. How much income are we getting in for golf and green fees? And that's always been a sore spot with the public. And the hearing we're having this afternoon over in Berryville, that's a big deal, always whining about that. So if we put more outgo and we don't have income on the 27 holes of golf, we've got to answer for that. And I think some of the questions are legitimate. But I think we're going about it the right way, and that's to take a little bit of time. But again, as Randy said, we got to get somebody in there and as soon as possible. I think Rich said that too. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the budget, or on the agenda, is using a felicitator for budget work. What's that all about?
Again,
I had a call from a person who's a friend of Cindy Reagan, and they said Cindy Reagan works for Walmart. And those of you know, she and Rich, they used to own the Holiday Island Rentals down by the old bank over here. They had about 20 homes that they rented for people for years and years. At any rate, Cindy's worked at Walmart headquarters for about 19 years, and she is very high level, way up there, okay? She does staff development around the world. Most of it is by YouTube and so forth, including China. And she offered, call me, and I talked to Rich. She offered to do a workshop of all day Saturday with this board. It's a workshop, not a meeting for public comment, but how we would get to agreement and how we would, and maybe it was for me mainly, but I have questions, and I think I could use her help. She deals with multi-million dollars every day. And she said she would do this at no fee, come in at about 8 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, December 7th. Unfortunately, it's Pearl Harbor Day. I hope that would be a good news day. And she would conduct the workshop. It would be broadcast on YouTube. Stephanie, I think we'd have to pay you. Can't do it. Somebody would be here to help us with YouTube. But at the end of that, well, the beginning of that meeting, we would have to swear in a new member, Bryce, who's in the back row there. And we had that meeting originally scheduled for the 9th, but she cannot do it on a Monday through Friday. So I asked Rich if we could go ahead with that, and can't talk to any board members, but I think it would be really wise. We've never had, I've been on the board 8 years. I've been here 18 years. We've never had, that I remember, a staff development for the board. School boards have them, county boards have them, commissioners court have them. We haven't had any, and I think Cindy would be a great person to do that.
I have a question. What is the exact agenda that she will be bringing to us?
The agenda is that she would facilitate the discussion on the budget as we have it. Like we have one more day next Monday, the regular
Right.
meeting. And then the 7th, we wouldn't have to approve it by then. We have to approve it on December 31st, before December 31st. And she would work with all of us here, including Rich, on what our concerns are and how we could come to a final decision together on what the budget might look like. And then they would be approved. It probably wouldn't be approved at that meeting because that's, it could be a special meeting, but I don't want.
Let me interrupt you a minute. The rumbling I've been hearing is, the talk that I have been hearing is that you would be bringing in the department managers and talking to them and going through this budget line by line? Is that not correct?
It could be line by line, but it wouldn't be department managers. It'd be just these 5 and 6.
Okay.
Rich has done his job with the department managers.
He absolutely
We've got-
has, and that's why I was questioning why we would be second-guessing him.
Well, we're not
And
second guessing. I think it would be, well, just the discussion we had in the last few minutes about the pro shop, the golf course, the golf pro, some of those kinds of things. She has a tact and an ability to bring out everybody's ideas, and it would take 8 hours to get it done. I think it'd be worth 8 hours of our
Okay.
time.
My
Instead of
concern was that our budget process was going to be stopped until this meeting was held, and that's not acceptable.
No.
That's why I'm trying to get a grasp on exactly what the purpose and the usefulness of this meeting would be, because we have our first draft of the budget, which, in my estimation, I was extremely pleased to see. I think it showed us to be in very good shape. The other thing is, what we really need to be devoted to
Okay, Phyllis,
is
let me answer that question. I've got a paper here that I don't think all of you have downloaded and printed yet. It came at 7:14 last night from Jennifer Head.
Oh.
And it was directed to me because I had questions on it. And I had questions on, 3 times I've had questions, and she was great about getting it back. She's got 24 budget, the 24 revised budget, and then the 25 proposed draft budget. And this was excellent stuff.
Yeah.
And we haven't had it. Today, we're not going to talk about budget much. And then next Monday is the last day. I've been on board 8 years, and we've had taken several days, and we haven't done that this year. Several days.
That's
on budget.
that's part of my question is, we need to, okay, let's start over. I was misinformed about what this December meeting was going to be. And I thought it was going to be, my impression from what I heard, was that it was going to be a rehash of the budget line by line. And we don't need to do that. What we need to do is the district manager and the accountant. I have this piece of paper, that form she sent us, that was all broken out individually by department. There wasn't any summary on it.
Yeah, this is a summary. It's,
Does it say
it's
general administration up at the
It's
top?
it's wages. See, we're not even going to talk about this. It might not
Well,
have even
but-
taken her time and paid her $75 an hour to do it. It says wages and burden, operation and maintenance. We've got on the other side here, excuse me, we've got a lot of lines, and it's
I didn't see a cover
different-
sheet that was a summary. That
What?
was my question there. And I do have the summary from our budget, but, and maybe I misunderstood, obviously I misunderstood the purpose of the meeting, but we need to keep going on getting our part of the budget, the capital improvements portion, and
No.
the,
Our part of the budget is the whole budget. That's the two things that the Board of Commissioners.
I agree, and in the past, it's
whole
been up to
budget.
the district manager and the accountant. And I know what's happened in the past with the budgets coming in upside down. We were elected to actually have a balanced budget, and we will have a balanced budget this year.
And
And
Rich
we will
fixed-
have our input as commissioners. It won't be just up to the accountant and the district manager. Neither one of those people were elected.
no.
As commissioners, we have a responsibility to present a balanced budget with our input.
It
that's
is
what-
the district manager's job is to work with the department heads to write a budget. And yes, we get our input and we vote on it. I would say that we did not have a balanced budget in 2024.
Why?
It doesn't matter at this point.
It won't happen again.
That's right.
Because I know what happened the last time. It was left up to the district manager and the accountant. And they agreed that it was okay to approve a budget that was upside down. That will not happen on this board.
And 5 commissioners approved that budget. The responsibility goes a lot of places. It's done.
That will also not happen with this district manager.
I want to go through this budget line by line,
Okay?
because I think we need to get a handle on all this telephone expense and all this other expenses. We need to, we're gonna get everybody, and Rich has talked to him, he can give us the input, but we're gonna have to go line by line through this thing.
But that is not the plan for this December meeting.
It
Yes
could
or
be.
no?
For the
My
budget,
interpretation, this lady is going to come in and explain to us what we should be doing in a budget, which is not dealing with this inflated, uncollectible AOBs. We ought to be starting with the actual money we collect every year, and we ought to work with that money. And every department should get a dollar amount that they have to work with. We don't ask them to present their money. We tell them how much their department is allocated based on the cash that we get.
Phyllis, it would be like what you and Randy are talking about right now. She would be facilitating, sitting right there at the table with all of us, trying to get to the end game, which is a balanced budget, and do it respectfully and cooperatively. And we have not had that much this year. We each have our little areas that we're concerned about, not little areas, they're big areas. Uncollectible lot assessments are a big one. And we haven't dealt with that, and that was part of the reason we were 800,000 in the hole. And that's not gonna happen again, not with my vote.
And here's what
Well,
I-
and
here's-
secondly, those are you can't collect things that, 50% of those are not gonna be collected. So I think we're just showing a income that's not available.
But that's, well, my point is, we did not have a balanced budget in 2024, and that's on three of us and 2 other people who approved a budget, regardless of how we got there. Rich and Jennifer sat down. His first task when he got here was to sit down with the department heads and revise that budget. And he did that. We made some hard choices. He got everything taken care of. So
No,
our
we're still upside down.
well, not by much.
300,000.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 300,000's a lot of money.
It's not 8. Well, and it's a budget.
Phyllis,
If it's $2, it's too much.
Okay.
Phyllis, maybe if you don't want to come, you don't have to come.
Just a minute. Let's get back on task.
Okay.
All right? We have kicked the budget all over the place, And I know we've got a lot of work to do on it, and we will get it done. But let's go ahead and get the rest of this stuff. We got other things that we need to talk about. And the next one is the restaurant repairs and renovation, to clean up the mess that we got.
Mr. Chairman, are we agreed that we're going to do this on the 7th?
I think that's a good.
We can't agree on that on the work session, so we will put it on the agenda. If it's worth looking into, we'll put it on the agenda for next week and decide if we were going to have it.
Okay.
And another thing is, you can look over the budget, and we can do the first reading on the budget next week, but
Yeah.
we're not approving it. We're just doing the first reading on it. So that way, once she comes in, if we decide to do this, get a grasp on it, and then that way we can have the second reading at the end of December.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, my understanding was if she is going to facilitate this on the 7th of December, that she needs some records and some paperwork in advance to be up to speed when she comes.
Yeah, we can get her, we can get
Okay.
it to her. I wanted to get to feeling the board first before we go forward. She gets one day off a week, and she's coming to help us, and I think it's really wonderful. So she could get $2,000 for that day. She's free, absolutely free.
By the way, I will add this, she gave a little session at Rotary, and she's an impressive lady. Very, very much so. Mhm. Okay, restaurant repairs and renovations. We got quotes here from Surf Pro on the cleaning up of the 19th hole or restaurant area. You want to discuss that, Mr. Rich?
So we have two different ones. One is including where the back area where the deep freezes are, which I don't think that's gonna be an area we really need to hit for, what is it, another $1,000, wherever it was. Especially if, so later on, we got bids for a walk-in freezer. So if we get a walk-in freezer, then we can get them chest freezers out of there, and it's gonna be a lot easier to clean and paint for ourselves to do it. So that's, the lower price bids, the one I would go with, where Serpro will come in, clean that entire kitchen completely. And then I've been on touch with Amanda Hiddle, who's the health inspector, and we'll hit this a little bit later towards the bottom. And she's given me a list of everything that we need to get done and taken care of. And she agrees that a walk-in freezer would be more beneficial for us than a cooler or a split. And she said the biggest problem with a split is they don't hold their temperatures well, so a freezer's a better way to go. And that way we can get rid of, I think we have 6 chest freezers up there that they're using for frozen stuff, and that's just.
Residential chest
Yeah,
freezers
yeah. I
that
mean,
were donated by the Brown Elks from leftovers that didn't sell.
Yeah. So, I mean, if, the first step's gonna be getting the Serpro in there, get that kitchen cleaned and ready. And then the second step's gonna be getting a walk-in freezer, so that way we can get that other room cleaned out, and it's gonna help us for our fire inspection and everything. Because a lot of them chest freezers are covering up fuse panels too.
I had a question, is it a heating process they use? I've seen it done at the Elks Lodge in the hood, where they heat it and all the liquid grease comes down into containers and so forth with plastic. Is that what Serpro is going to do in that kitchen?
Yeah, it's gonna be a complete steam clean, blast, I mean, it's gonna be a deep clean.
Okay, thank you.
The only other thing will be later on, we'll be patching the little bit of tiles that we got in the floor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rich, the other day after our conversation, and you told me you had a good plan for how we're gonna move forward on that, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you have kind of the people you talked to me about?
Right now, we have very good people up there, and then
Yeah.
we get a cook manager.
But I wanna know, for the last few days, I've been up there, well, I play golf probably almost every day, but long and short of it is, why do we got the kitchen closed, and every time I've been in there, we got 2 people?
Mark's been filling in and training, so a lot of time when Mark is there, he's been learning how to do everything and training, because
Okay,
we
well,
can utilize him later on, I feel like, in the golf pro, or the pro shop.
okay,
And then he's been going through and organizing all the inventory that was in the back room that we had no idea we had.
well, I just know in the afternoons, when there's nobody hardly there, I see 2 people sitting there, or standing or sitting, whatever they're doing, and I don't see them doing a whole lot of anything, maybe. So, we're paying extra wages for, when they're really not very busy at all. And you would think they could get most of that done in the busy time and not have two people standing around.
Mark and Lori have also been really good about, they've been deep cleaning the bathrooms
Well, okay,
and trying to get.
as
all
long
that
as they're
stuff.
cleaning, you know, when they're working, even like Mark, they need to be cleaning that stuff. I mean, we should have had that cleaned up. We've been closed 2 weeks. And there's not really any excuse. We haven't had anybody. The help should be cleaning that up, we shouldn't have to hire people to do it.
Yeah. Well, that kitchen is so bad. I mean,
Well, I know, I was in there and looked at
I
it.
went in there and me and Ken had all of our clean stuff. We were gonna tackle it.
The day that,
Rich,
that we went up there and talked to,
Yeah.
you know, I told you, my wife said it was the dirtiest kitchen she ever was in.
Yeah.
We need to define what we're gonna do there. That floor is in
That's part of
serious
the bid.
bad condition.
In the kitchen.
The other thing I have issue with is those side tables with Formica tops, and that should all be stainless.
Yeah. it
And
should
I don't
be.
know how long that's gonna be before the health department.
Well, I've talked to Amanda, and she's fine with that stuff. As long as the main prep table in the middle there is, you know.
Stainless.
Stainless. But the storage drawer, she's like, you can paint it. She's like, sand it down, repaint them. I'm like, well, don't you want stainless? And she's like, hey, if you got stainless and you want to put stainless in, go for it. But just clean it up and paint it if nothing else.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in contact with her, and I've made sure that I'm doing everything she wants.
I question the condition of the floor. It's in, and I would invite any of the commissioners to go look at that floor. It's pretty rough.
I looked at it.
And it's,
Well, part of the plan is to clean the floor with steam pressure and then to put an antimicrobial agent on the floor. So
I wouldn't be a
it's-
bit
it's
surprised if
in
you
the
steam
plan.
cleaned that floor, half those tiles would come off.
Then we
Good.
fix them. Yeah.
That's gonna take the hard work off me putting them back down.
Well, the
But,
issue
I mean,
is,
that's
that-
all included if you look at, hey, take a minute.
Once we get it clean, we're gonna go through and we're gonna look and see what we have to do.
Our first priority should be
And
able to
it's-
get the darn thing cleaned and reopened because we're losing business.
And I can't believe we let it get that dirty in the first
Well,
place.
this is years and years and years.
Yeah, but we got people for years and years, been there every day and
Work-
not
work-
doing their job.
Working their 5 hours, you know, that's, it
If you
just.
did an hour a day, 1 hour every day of just cleaning, you'd have that thing spick and span all the time.
Once we get it into shape, we can. That's part of the objective is the same way as with the ballroom kitchen. You get professional, hardcore cleaning done, and then it's easy for the staff to get it done.
Well,
But this
I tell you-
isn't stuff we can do ourselves.
And this, and I'm tired of beating a dead cat here, but I came in behind the 8 ball.
Yes, you did.
I am doing everything I can to get everything brought, there has been no maintenance around this place.
Right.
None.
Rich, I just question
Every building I walk into needs work.
the order. If we're not gonna replace the floor, then go ahead and clean. But if we're gonna replace the floor, I think we should do that before we clean. But that's all I'm questioning is
Yeah,
the
and every
chronological
month-
order of
Every
this.
month I come in here, and it's like, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm working on a budget. I'm out there putting the stuff, I'm doing the stuff myself. I mean, how many district managers before went up there and rolled up their sleeve and started scraping grease off the stove? I mean, what else can I do here? I'm doing everything I can to make this place survive and go. All I need is some cooperation.
We're gonna do that. Now,
Yep.
we can't cure
We
what's
need to-
happened.
Rich, how soon could they do that?
He called me Friday, and when I set it up, and he's looking at Tuesday or Wednesday, to get up there and get going.
Tuesday or Wednesday this coming week?
Yeah, which before he told me 2 weeks, but now he's like, we'll get something set up on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, it kind of puts us in a bad way because we can't really approve anything
We
today.
don't need to.
It's under the budget, it's under
It's under
10,000.
It's
Oh, okay.
No, that's
I
not an
think
issue.
then we
I mean,
ought to move
when
forward.
next week, I mean, if you guys feel like we need to move on with the walk-in freezer, next week I'll put that on the agenda, we can vote on that.
That
I
was
think
in
you
the
ought to.
that was in the capital markets budget
And we,
For the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
for a long time.
Yeah,
but
and it keeps getting kicked down the road.
We, you know, so it was basically approved in 2024 on the budget.
Okay. We have discussed what happened in the past that we can't do a damn thing about. So
Amen,
let's,
brother.
let's move on to the fire department inspection of the HICID properties. I understand that due to insurance that we're getting, that was gonna save us some money, they did require an inspection from the fire marshal.
And I guess what I wanted to know in asking that is, what are our total liabilities? What do we need to do to comply with all these things? And I guess it moves on to the next point, is who's going to do it?
So this is, of course, I hear things, and people are like, well, Chief Martin was mad about something, and so he just started doing these inspections. No, by these inspections getting done and fixed, it's gonna save us $30,000 on our premiums in insurance. So now we're just moving forward, which we've had several help from the community and other people getting all this stuff addressed and fixed. Once again, it's stuff it's lack of maintenance over the years. We're just.
But it's a one-time deal. We fix it all now, and next year he does the inspection, we're all in good, and I respect
yeah,
the
and
fire
that's-
chief for
yeah.
doing what he did. It's time that we pay the piper.
And yeah, we're taking a big chunk of it right now because it hasn't been done. But next year he comes in and he sees, oh, okay, well, you need to get rid of this extension cord and put a GFI outlet here. I mean, it's gonna be, hopefully, from now on, it's gonna be simple stuff. But it really brought the attention to me, the kitchen. I mean, the health inspector, she was passing that kitchen.
Well, the other things, in the barn, I understand that it's primarily exit lighting, some old wiring. In the clubhouse,
Stupid.
it's the
just
kitchen
just
stuff,
covers.
as well as the fire stop in the basement, in the simulator room.
That one I'm gonna investigate some more, because you go to Walmart, and they got open ceilings and rafters. So I'm gonna do a little bit more investigating on that.
I think,
We did get a bid on putting it in,
I understand that, and I looked at it, and so did David.
Dave.
I know what you're saying as far as those, but I also understand what the fire chief was looking at, was the open space above the ceiling. If we closed all that off, your idea would work. But now it's all open. So if a fire got started in there, it could travel
spread.
anywhere through that ceiling. So I guess that's something that we can discuss with Gary or whoever, but the least expensive way to make it compliant. I don't know what other things we had that we need to deal with as far as maintenance-wise and passing these fire inspections. I know we had the barn, and we've got a few issues at the clubhouse. I don't know where else we've got issues.
Here, which.
Oh, okay, and
I
here
put the
too?
new exit sign up. We got the new smoke alarms that put up. So everything here, except for a couple extension cords, which I'm gonna need somebody really talented to do that. We've pretty much taken care of everything here except for 2 cords.
In looking at the ceiling in that simulator room, I know you had a bid. I never saw it, but the question I have immediately is all those lights that have to be lowered. They're all at about 10 or 12 feet now, and if we go to it, like saying, when I measured it, the best we could do would be an 8-foot, 6-inch ceiling in there, but all those lights would have to be brought down. So my question is that in his bid, or is that an add-on?
You know what? I looked at the main price of this, and that's about it.
Well, the other thing is the exit light is too high, it's got to be low. So I know we got some electrical work, and not only that, all the heating and air conditioning is up high and would have to be extended down.
Drop the ductwork.
So that's why I'm asking, you know.
And more than likely, this bid is probably just for grid sealing.
Well, then guaranteed you got a couple grand in electrician and HVAC to do the rest of it.
Why don't we just close it off at those vents? Just close the ceiling
Well,
and
now,
be
is
done
that where
with
the
it.
golf simulator is?
Well, that's the thing is the sheetrock goes up 8 foot 6 inches, then you got another, 26 inches above that we'd have to bring up and 5/8 sheetrock. Well, then you're cutting around because it's got the metal floor joists.
Oh, no, to drywall that ceiling is a lot more expensive
Yeah.
than to put in an acoustical drop
You'd use-
ceiling.
Yeah, you'd use 8 gallons of mud just to
Ah.
get mud around all them beams.
Yeah, it's not, and it's bad enough as it is. on the far end behind the screen is where all the electrical comes in the building
Yep,
and
trying to
goes into, and the electrical panel is on that wall. So all those ceiling tiles all got to be cut around all that conduit.
Yeah, there were 2x4 tiles, electrical by others,
Yeah.
yep. And then what you'd have to do, the 2x4 drop-in, like panel grids, and then you gotta run,
Well, they're 2x4 fluorescents.
Yep.
Or LEDs, and,
then you'd have to.
but all those got to have whips brought down from the existing
The
lights.
Romac, yep.
Wouldn't it, if we close that off and up there, wouldn't it make the electricity more efficient and the heating and air conditioning more efficient? I mean,
Well-
if you have that open going all over the building, you're heating the ceiling above all that stuff, and you're air conditioning the ceiling up there.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's
So
wide
it'd be
open.
A lot more efficient to just close that off.
Well, that's
and
what
make-
a
and be
ceiling would
done
do.
with it.
That's what an acoustical
Yeah,
ceiling would
right, I
do.
see, that's what we need.
The ductwork wouldn't be a big deal, because that'd just be 6-inch flex duct, and then just the drop-in diffusers. That doesn't bother me, but the electrical, we'd have to have somebody drop
It's,
big pails down on every
probably
one of
3 or 4 hours for an electrician to extend all those whips.
them. Yeah, another 1,500 probably. The bid was $5,190, $5,190 for all the grid.
I looked at it, the material for that job is about $2,200. The rest is labor.
Well, I received it from Dave. Who was the company through, Dave? Do you know? Oh, Arkansas Drywall and Contractors.
I don't think we want to drywall it.
No,
No, that's just the name of the
That's
company.
just the name of the company.
name of the company, but they're using 2x4 acoustical panels.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is there anything else we have to do for the fire department?
Well, I got the list, but I mean, a lot of this on the list is like what we discussed earlier. Cardboard on the floors. That's what Doug and them are out there doing, hauling out cardboard. We got to figure out, we do have to get an electrical company up there to put new fuse panels on them panels up at the country club, because the doors are sprung and a lot of the latches don't work. But it's just like, it's daily maintenance stuff. So, yeah. And then, a lot of the barn stuff, I think, is getting pretty close to wrapped up, ain't it?
Mr. Chair, I have a question about the fire department on this inspection. Rich, are we still, and the mayor is here, we're having a discussion about the short-term rentals, and the fire department was doing some, I think David was doing some, or the city. Where are we on? We had like 104 SRTs to do. Are we finished with that, or are we behind, or what's the status with that?
They're pretty well caught up on inspections.
Okay, good.
There's some re-inspection.
I was gonna say, I think they had like 6 re-inspections last I knew.
Okay,
Workload should be minimal on that.
okay, thank you.
okay, the next item on here is hiring David Doberman as on a part-time basis for general maintenance and repairs and all that good stuff. I think that's a fantastic idea.
And ever since those fire inspections came out, Dave's been God sent to me. I mean, he's been volunteering all of his time. We've been covering the cost of the materials that he's used, and that's it. Besides that, everything he's done is volunteer. And I think it'd be in the Holiday Island's best interest to hire him as a part-time employee to take care of this stuff. Because he shouldn't just be working for free.
No.
I'll agree with
I mean, if we could just give him part-time, it doesn't even have to be whatever, 24 hours a week or whatever he wants to do it. I just don't feel like he needs to be invested all of his time that he's put into this place for free.
I agree. And it's within your purview to make that decision, and I think it's a good one.
Well, number one, the lack of maintenance has caused us lots and lots and lots of problems. And if you get a handle on it, it's gonna save the district a bunch of money and keep our stuff in good, proper working order.
Yeah,
It just-
it's something we have needed for a long, long time, and it's been discussed in meetings and never gone anyplace.
We wouldn't,
Kudos to
you
Rich.
wouldn't let your household get in the shape this place is in.
Another thing is, I think we kind of bombard Dave with this, so would you like to get up and say anything, or?
Dave Dobrin, Oak Point Drive. The only thing I can think of right now is on that drop ceiling, that simulator, I think, is like 8 foot. Does that frame of that simulator, will it fit if we drop that ceiling? And if it won't fit, where does that screen go?
That was gonna be, that was,
I have a picture of it.
That
thought
simulator
of that
is,
too.
the rack of that is PVC piping.
So you think you could just cut it down a bit?
I think we could cut 4 inches off it and just put it back together with couplings. And it's not gonna hurt the structure of it.
the
It's-
simulator?
Yeah,
How does it affect the operation?
it shouldn't because it's gonna be. I mean,
I've
you
never
could
used
just-
it, so I don't know.
You're probably just gonna have to adjust your zoom on your projector.
Okay, I just, you know, we're talking about making more use of it, and then if we do something without coordinating the whole thing, we could end up.
Dave, I don't
with an
believe that
unusual-
simulator screen is higher than 8'6".
I think it is, because when I looked at where we would put that channel around the perimeter, that was above it by a lot.
Just needs to be looked at.
But if it can be lower, that's fine. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we go
I mean,
through all that thinking we're gonna get a simulator, where else would it go? If it can't go in that room,
And we
well-
have the simulator.
so it's just a screen. Screen could be a wall, right?
Hitting area.
Does that ball get hit into that?
hits the screen, it has a mesh net,
Oh,
Yeah, see, so you've
All
got
right.
ball flight to think about, and that was my concern. And I've not used it.
and it's just like, I mean, all it is the adjustment of the T and the projector. I'm sure, Doug, you can move yours around pretty much any way you want, can't you?
What's that?
Your simulator, the height of your net really don't matter, just how you set up your projector and your.
You know, I don't know how, you know, I guess the first thing I would question is we're spending all this money on that simulator, and are we really using that thing? How many people use that simulator?
And that's where we fall back on a golf pro. I mean, if we get a good golf pro in there, they can.
Well, then
use
he
it
can
for
use that,
training.
and that's a good driving range. So if I guess my simulator is, I use my tablet. That's what it goes on. And you hit balls, and it records, it tells you everything. You're right on your tablet. You don't have to have a screen that's telling you anything. You're hitting into a net, and it's telling you on this tablet what's going on. Every swing shows you your every swing, shows you your backswing, your forward swing, how far the ball goes, how high it goes. I mean, it does everything.
I use that tablet for baseball and softball.
Right. And I mean, that's all the new rigs that you buy, they don't have stuff like that simulator screen. They use it on a tablet. Because then they got a good idea what's going on. They can tell you everything about your swing.
We can still get a tablet, but we'll still have to use the net.
Yeah, you haven't used a net, but mine is just the nets, and my net is 10 feet by 10 feet tall, and the ceiling's 13. And if you didn't have that there, you would hit the ceiling every time you swung with, like say, a sand wedge. You'd knock a hole in your ceiling. So you got to have a complete net that goes. Mine, it's got sides, top, everything on it. And you can hit balls all day long in there off the mat, and it'll read every one of them. And it'll show you, then you can get rid of it and look at it. If you want to change your swing, it'll do it.
The point is, we need to get the, we need to figure out if it's gonna fit and if it's gonna work if you drop the ceiling. I mean, that's one
Yep.
more task for
Correct.
you good guys to figure out is,
Rich, I think we need to get a better clarification from Gary as to what we specifically need to do. Can we extend the wall straight up to the bottom of the bar joist and close off all those draft stop areas? Or do we have to put in a ceiling?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to get with Gary, get exactly what, well, it'll be Gary and John, get them down there and see what our options are completely. because we felt like the cheapest option was gonna be a false ceiling.
Well, maybe just extending the walls up to the bottom of the bar joist would be enough.
Yeah. I still think they have to be completely sealed.
Well, I guess we need, for the time being, we can't really do much more about the ceiling down there until we get a clarification from the fire department.
Yep, no problem. I asked Gary to be here, but I think he got called out.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to say one more thing about David. The Friends of the Barn had only about $3,000 in our account from parking lot, so forth. And David went over there. We had fascia, however you pronounce that, along the front of the barn. And it was gutters there, and behind the gutters it was rotting. So David by himself took all the guttering down, went to recycle, gave us $72 for the metal of that downspout, and he put up all new composite lumber, 20-foot pieces by himself, had it done in about 2 days. And so the Friends of the Barn paid him out of our little meager amount, and he did great, and it never has to be painted again. Second thing he did was, I talked to Rich, and Rich knew about it. Fort Apache, the siding was coming down. It looked really bad. I mean, that's the main thoroughfare up by the country club that everybody looks at. He figured out how to do it, took some panels from the 18th green side, put them over on this side, ordered some new paneling, done a day or two. And Rich was happy to have it done, something he didn't have to go up there and worry about, right, Rich? And so I really appreciate what he does, time and materials. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, the last item on here is our liquor license tied to the food sales? I'm sure it is.
Absolutely it is. And that's why I've been working so much with Amanda, so that way if she pulls our license, we lose our liquor license. Then we gotta go through the whole rigmarole again. So that's why I've been working with Amanda so much, to make sure that we are doing everything she wants, so that way she won't pull our health license, and then we can continue with our alcohol license. So yeah, they're all tied together.
Okay, so that's just to clean up, be on the right side of
You can do it on his own.
the health department.
Don't, you know, whenever you asked me if I had anything for the work session, I probably said I can't think of anything, but we've kicked around well 5. We've kicked around the treatment plant deal that we got to do, that we know we got to do. And basically, where are we on those items? And the pressure reducer valves.
Pressure reducing valves, yes. So the UV project is going along. I know we will not be ready by December 31st, like it was proposed by the engineer company, because of water rate study slowed us down, which we're still working on that. And then they did not go out for bids like they were supposed to, and we still haven't even seen any bids back or opening of bids. So that, right now, we're just kind of waiting on the engineer. Well 5, like I said, it's working, it's pumping, it's doing fine. It's just a matter of whether we want to rebuild the booster pumps and do frequency drive on that, or get rid of the booster pumps and put in a bigger pump down in the well and with frequency drive with that, which once we get this next year going, then we're going to get an engineer and look into that part of it, see which way is going to be more cost effective and work the best for us. And then we also got 3-year plan for well 2. We want to do reverse osmosis on it and get it back up and going. And then the water towers is another one. So as of now, we have got a 3-year plan with the water system. And I mean, it's not dying. It's not going to die. We're not going to run out of water, as some people might say. And then we got the pressure reducing valves, which we have extras on the shelf. It's just finding time to get them stuck in.
Does this 3-year plan also include the UV light system for the,
No, it's that plan was already put in place.
okay.
So the UV plan is already put in place, and we're rolling with it. So it's going to be well 5, the water towers, inspection and clean and back up to par. And then I want to work on well 2, because the rayon in that place is just, I think it's over by 1/110th of a million parts per gallon. I mean, it's just barely over. So what we can do is we can look into a reverse osmosis treatment on it, and then hopefully get it back up and going. But yeah, that's also part of the, because once again, every time you open up a well house and it starts going bad, you're looking at $300,000 to $500,000.
Okay. Mr. Mills, you said you'd like to discuss the water?
Mills, 20 Rocky Top Circle. I spend a little bit of time on the computer, and I read all this, I call them boo birds, people that are denigrating the district and the community all the time. And there's a lot of bad information going out there that I think can have a negative impact on people looking at Holiday Island as a place to come. And I just think we need to, you say we have a 3-year plan, Rich. I would like to see you put that out as a public announcement type thing and kind of give people the correct perspective of what we're doing, because right now it's all one way. It's all negative. And I think we need to show them that there is a plan.
I agree. And this is, well, it's definitely my fault. My weekly newsletter hasn't been very weekly. My updates with the board here has not been updated. And it's just a lack of communication on my part, but I kind of get overwhelmed with stuff, get going, and then next thing I know, it's like, oh crap, it's 11 o'clock on Friday.
Well, I really have a feel for the community, and I hate to see it, just constant downgrading.
The problem with that, Ken, is it's not the community, it's the 5%ers. And
Well, I know, but
there is no way to win with those people. If you put out a response, you're going to get back, yeah, but. And it's
Well-
difficult to engage with them because, and we've had citizens who have actively tried to engage with it, and it just doesn't, there's nothing you can do with those folks. They are going to complain
but
regardless.
I just think that some kind of a report that
I,
tells.
I, I don't disagree with the fact that we could better inform.
And I've dealt with some of them, and I understand that, but
Nobody,
But Dan, puts out a thing, a mayor's message every once in a while when things get, and I think that's where we're at on this water issue. And I'd like to take some of the people out there and put them in the water, but but they won't let me do that.
no.
But yeah, you're right. I'll work on communicating better.
Okay.
That's on my to-do list.
Barb, you got a maybe? Okay. And Sharon, you got a maybe? No? Is there anything else from the general public that you'd like to talk about? Yes, sir? Thank you. It needs to be more. And, well, I can't say that it will proceed because I'm proceeding. But yes, and thank you for your input. Yes, sir?
My name is Steve. Another mic, please. My name is Steve Heinitsky. I'm one of the newest residents here. I purchased the Reed's home at 9 Hillcrest, and I moved last week. And, I'm retired. I'm probably going to do something. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. I'm kind of just digesting things. But I've got banking and real estate experience. I served 13 years as a president of a 226-door community association for condos. And, you know, I'm willing to volunteer my time in any way that I might be able to assist. But, you know, just wanted to introduce myself, and that's about it.
Welcome to the
Thank you.
community.
Community, and we appreciate your offer.
And you can rest assured it will be taken up on. You're going to be very busy. But welcome. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Any-
I do, yeah, just a quick question. Can we install, you would still have the month of December as on the board, but can we do our installation of Bryce at the November meeting? And then not, you can't do it before his time to take his turn. Got it, thank you. That answered that. Oh, after December. Oh, okay, got it, forgot about that. That's fine, the way I learn things.
Okay. Anything else?